because also you allow Timotino to start things off on the attack. That's where he had the most of his value on the first map against Qbert Academy on Haven. I think he was 4, 6, and 3, whiffing a lot of op shots, but then got all the entries as possible on the attack and went like 16 and 5 on the attack itself. So you have somebody who's second highest rated in Challengers in Timotino, warmed up for the second map, starting off on the attack side. So it's not going to be an easy fight here for Qbert Academy. But I think towards the end, though, Uber, there's one thing that's good for Qbert Academy is they're always able to bounce back here when they lose the first map.
Yeah, absolutely. Something they've had to do on multiple occasions on their run here. This would be no exception. We'll see what TSM have up for us, though, on this attack side. This pistol round with a 1-3-1 look, an early 4A up mid for TSM. Doesn't really spot anything out. Whereas Cooper's set for contact with a bit of a heavier gamble towards the A side. I realize it's only Alvin Boy lurking now as that 0 point reveals him.
Interesting enough, though, that Qbert Academy are not rotating off of that because they've lost so much mid control in the beginning, so they have to be wary of mid lurks or whatnot, especially when the turret is gone. So TSM still has the advantage of working the map so far, selling this semi-fake towards this B side. It'll have to come down to this lurk on middle with GMD on how he could cut these rotates.
And they're not convinced that B is the way to go. Alvin Boyle, obviously, still tucked in on that A side, and Kimon's always finding some kind of devilish timing. He finds Caillou, but it is traded out eventually as Nismo was waiting for him kitchen side. And this seems to be more than enough to give TSM the go signal to work onto this A side.
And that tough part for Qbert, because they lost mid control, they have to stick on a 2-2 sight hold on both extremities. So you can walk contact for TSM. There's only one person watching the contact, and that's Redux.
Right, is the play. It's going to be nice. Waiting for Boyd to step on up. Alvin finally springs into action this round, and Timo tests the corner. Should be a double swing, and they even keep Timo alive even better. Ooh, trading would have been worst case, would have still been fine. Paranoia, though, head first, run into, and eventually Alvin is going to see Satellite enter that smoke. Well, that's an open and shut case here in the pistol. They lose the Viper early, so TSM don't have the wall option on B, so they throw all their eggs in the A basket.
Another huge miscom from the beginning of the round, this time for Qbert Academy. Just having that jump spot on middle from Caillou and leaving that unattended for that kill to happen for GMD. You needed Nismo to start moving up a little bit more before it could actually commit for the full swing and full clear on middle. At least they get the trade-off, but you lose so much thinning out the defense here over on that A site, and you saw how TSM was able to overtake Flood and even not allow the last two players to rotate from the B side to get any ground gained on that rotate. So now the outlaw for TSM for the second round. Looks like Timotino was potentially looking to start it off here on this B site. But I feel now that we're floating around here, we might need a timeout because I see somebody just holding in spawn, and that's 7.
Yeah, we're on a bird cam here, so you know that something is a little amiss. This, of course, would be a pretty standard push towards the outlaw for Timo in his second round, if we sort of get there. There's obviously something to bear in mind is that if, you know, Kimon is going to be looking for those opportunities up mid, he doesn't want to take too many undue risks because that B-side hit is far more simple when your Viper is still in play. And we're waiting on the call from the tech pause, folks. We'll let you know what the reason for the delay is when we find out.
I'm actually surprised here, Uber. You're a smart man. We see pigeons on Icebox. It's very cold out here, and it seems like they're flying to migrate. I don't think pigeons are migrating birds, right?
They do not migrate. No. They actually stay in their initial locations. They actually live their entire lives, like in the
Where the
same
hell are they
place.
flying then? They're flying into the water.
Well, maybe pigeons just live in Antarctica. I don't really know. I mean, dude, this could be a bay. Like, bro could be flying across the bay. Like, I don't see a pigeon flying on this map and assume that he's going to Madagascar. You know, they're not long haul flyers like a bloody albatross. That wingspan is not going to carry them very far. Though I would suggest that, like, with the distinct lack of thermals in this part of the world, as it were, we won't be all that easy to get around.
And I actually, Google Assistant just helped me out as well. Pigeons also do not live in Antarctica. They're found in every continent except for the icy Antarctic. I don't know if this is necessarily Antarctic, but
they're not found in sort of cold environments. I'm pretty sure.
So why do we have him here?
Is it even a pigeon though?
It kind of looks like a pigeon.
It is a little bit.
Production, can we get back into the pigeon cam? Maybe it's another layer that proves to us that pigeons are just robots spying on the world.
I think there's actually only one species of bird that is endemic to Antarctica, and the rest are
those penguins?
Accidental. Probably. Are we count? Yes. I mean, I think we're counting penguins. There are like some smattering of waterfowl every now and then, and also sheath bills.
There it is. It looks like a pigeon. It's got a line on its beak.
But
red eyes.
But is this Alpha or Omega Earth? Do you know what I mean?
You know,
'Cause if
you're
there
right.
are Omega pigeons, like I don't actually know whether Icebox is in, whether it's Alpha or Omega Earth. I think the lore heads are different. I mean, there's all this kingdom stuff. The lore heads
Cypro,
are
please
telling-
help us.
Yeah, we're back into the game though, folks. So thanks for sticking with us. A little ornithology lesson for all of you.
Yeah, so we talked about the outlaw available for Timotino, and I thought he was going to try to get a little bit more space on this B side first, but they are actually looking for inserts in the first place. So you see this orb coming up. It's quite dangerous, though, that it's actually 7 moving up with the spike to clear out that area, but thankfully, no shenanigans comes out of Qbert, and TSM's in a good spot now to take full control of B.
Yeah, I mean, this is just exactly how the round they want. Another stack on the A side here, which is, customary. But Knights is playing his life well, right? Just fall back behind his util, clear the recon, maybe try and imply that there's a couple of extra players here, but it's obviously not going to stop TSM from doing exactly what they want. Obviously, with the better weapons, the yellow control for Timotino is going to be pretty hard to break. There's a flash there. A second now. Mosh pit towards yellow. Follow-up, though, is lacking and can only be questionable when there's nothing but classics in the game. Timo takes 3 kills in a round, already building up towards that first Blade Storm at a rate of knots.
Yeah, it's kind of I'm watching Baby Bay over at FaZe Clan days. Just owning on pistol rounds, getting a lot of kills on the anti-eco, and then just making sure that no matter what happens, his economy is still going to be really good to follow up with the rest of the team round after round for any case that you have the opposite team starting to come back already early in the game. That said, though, things continue to be fairly clean, and you're starting to see as well that TSM takes full advantage of this B site take when, the composition in itself doesn't really allow for you to take the B site as easily because you don't have any wall plants, you don't have a cove that they used to play in the past.
Yeah, no sage or anything like that.
Correct. Now you're just leveraging the rifle. Now that you're playing against rifles, you're leading back towards the A side and looking to duel here against those 3 players of Qbert, just holding back towards the pipes.
3 players to A for the attack side now, and Timotino is going to show a bit of barrel here, most likely. Redux waiting on that opportunity. He'll be given it. And Timo's able to swing on the angle and not be punished for it. That is crazy. Nobody over on the A side itself. There's no rafter presence here for Qbert, so he gets away with that. But still, it doesn't really play towards TSM's win condition so much. They're going to need to close the gap a little bit, and that is the plan. They know they're up against a full buy here, of course. So they don't want to just be running willy-nilly over Qbert Academy. TSM slowly working A. And it looks as if Gimon's finally starting to get a bit active up mid. He's the one you'd expect it from. That little mid to late round lurk from the Viper. Gonna have to happen sooner rather than later. There it is. The trades start to get broken up, though, as the tailwind comes in from Timotino. He doesn't get what he needs, but he breaks crosshair placement enough for TSM to take these crossfires.
They have to close it on GMD. The alarm bot already shows that he's present towards kitchen, but they decide to give that up. GMD now has a window to work with in the post plant. Oh wait, he's strolling.
Okay, he is really going the long way around. This does leave Vora alone.
Scanning ahead.
Yeah, he needs more info. Okay, able to force Knights off the planet at least, even if it's not finding any damage. The high-low setup is good, and where's Gimon? Where's the boy? He's, well, too late. He is too... Bro had to go by the gift shop on the way out. You know what I mean? He had to get himself a little Antarctic pigeon carving for the desk setup.
Unfortunately, missed the flight.
Yeah.
The door closed, the plane's gone, and Qbert gets the round. That's the unfortunate thing, but the idea was there. I still like how they really entered towards the site for TSM, though. You saw that when everything got stalled by a KO knife, Vora actually fell all the way back, so he recon darted towards Orange while they're smoking towards Boiler. So if the turret was actually there, it would have added even more pressure and potentially even a rotate across. But Qbert had the better setup. They had this turret right there inside the kitchen. They didn't have to over-rotate in that scenario, and you see how everything panned out on that 2 versus 3, which was quite easy for Qbert to take over in the end when GMD was left stranded against passive utility set up here by Satellite.
So you talked about in the previous round, less of a sure thing to try and take this B side. Nismo finds timing and is punished. Team is able to see him straight away. Wow, okay. Well, he's cracked this one, hasn't he? Satellite wants to just forget about it. Don't leave your guns at home. Nicely done by Timotino. Sees the third player up towards Crow's Nest and dispatches him instantly.
It really almost feels like this type of matchup really favors anybody to brawl up towards this B site, because as much as we talk about how difficult it is for TSM with this composition to get plants towards this B site, it's still very hard for Qbert to even retake on that side. You're almost leveraging the same type of playstyle of the Omen and the Viper to really start smoking up some angles, and you start to scale back up. So initially, you're just trying to hold as best as you can if you have the correct read into the B site and not give it up to your opponent. It becomes basically a team deathmatch. We've seen the value that Timotino consistently is getting on the attack side to open up for TSM, and it really throws Qbert Academy for a loop around here when they're playing so passively in those moments at the beginning of these rounds. The 2-1-2 setup that they wanted to be more reactive on it, but that the whole burst from TSM really surprised them.
Damn, they had a player up towards yellow. Like, in theory, you want to just trade into that to some degree as defenders. TSM are ready to fight for that B side of the map. They have to. Like you mentioned, they don't have like any cheese. They can't wall. They can't cove. They don't have like that extra layer of harbor util. They're expecting someone to try and flash out on them, and they just have to fight for that space. So, pretty important round from TSM to take here. Qbert can still buy to some degree. It is a stinger in the hands of Satellite, though. What's the look here? Maybe an expectation of some kind of walk-up. It's more TSM style over the course of this series. Redux here knows this time around he has to either play his life and get out or get some serious value.
And this is what I'm liking. Now both the initiators are playing behind the line so they can flash and support towards that yellow pressure that Redux has.
They push past.
So Paranoid double flash, you fight this.
Like this, yeah. It's very ugly, folks. Paranoid is going to force him on the way. He's able to jump. It's a mosh pit in play that makes it a bit awkward. 7 drops down off of yellow and behind the wall. Timo thinks about the shorty for a moment. It's Vora for 7. Nice taken down as Nismo on the other side of these boxes. Timo just cleans him up, man. Not able to double down on this occasion. That's what you want. TSM expecting a fight. Qbert at least trading evenly until now, and just a stinger. That little double back from Alvin, maybe realizing his opponent has a weaker long-range weapon, is very prescient. And he gets TSM not only ahead, but also maybe a round that's worth 2 for them.
And Qbert was just trying to find that timing that they could potentially break TSM when they're going to try to get the wall up to execute towards the B site. But as they do that, that wall thrown up by GMD actually saves TSM and allows for them to fall back. It stalls really the amount of value that Dizzy got from Caillou. I think it blinded 2 people on top of that. And once everybody gets unblinded, you definitely see that it comes down to those protocols. Who swings better for either team? It really came down to even trades until this lurk had so much value from Alvin Boy that won them the round here for TSM. So that continues for me to show that TSM are really good in terms of the heads-up play adaptation throughout this series so far, based on the main macro plans that are coming out from either teams.
Another tech pause here. The earlier one was a mic issue, so communication obviously is what I would sort of file that under. And we get Penguin Cam, which would make Rivington very happy.
You're throwing it back to last year for a cast of Rivenine.
He's a big. Did you know, by the way, that pigeons can actually recognize themselves in a mirror?
Really?
They actually have a self-cognitive ability that's better than some 3-year-olds.
I did not know that, and that's actually quite awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how, because I guess
you don't know how you know.
Well, I mean, they don't have any really distinguishing marks. I guess they probably do, but being able to spot that is pretty impressive. They also, credit to them, the male pigeons also help incubate the eggs. So kind of a base bird species. Now that's a seagull. So at least that I feel like is accurate. I still don't think there are seagulls in Antarctica, but maybe they just sort of turn up. That I don't know about.
Gulls are found in the waters around Antarctica.
Okay.
With the kelp gull and the southern black-backed gull being 2 species observed by the Southern Ocean.
Did you just say Southern?
Yeah, Southern Ocean. Dude, this is what the AI tells me, man. I'm just reading what I'm reading.
I know you're Canadian, bro, but that's on a whole different level. So there you go, folks. The seagulls more geographically accurate, or should I say accurate? Yeah, I can make
Wait, is that how we say in Canadian?
No, I just thought I had a pass to just basically take a word and butcher its pronunciation.
You know, I'll give you a pass if you want to butcher a pronunciation. Try to say my full name now.
Alexandre?
Yeah? What's my Vietnamese name? Actually, you know what? Don't say the full name.
What? No, dude. I think I'd get fined for even trying to pronounce it.
Liga Ace, would you fire Uber for trying? I don't think so. You're nice people. Nice people.
Type it out. Type it out.
Type it out to you?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on.
Oh, God.
It's easy, dude. It's only 4 letters. I'll give you a hint. You ever play Mortal Kombat? We'll talk about it later. We're back. Yeah, exactly. Right? There you go.
Damn, bro. Right. That goes kind of hard. What are you calling yourself Alexandre for, bro? The hell?
My homies, the real homies call me Kang for sure. It does go hard.
That's crazy.
Start calling me that, Uber.
Okay, well, Satellite downed TimOtino again. Just instrumental in those first picks on Haven on a number of occasions, punishing that mid play. Just dominates Satellite. Obviously, this is the kind of round you sort of expect to sweep in and take away either, but this is definitely going to reduce the threat of that potential thrifty. And it turns out that TSM have made the correct call again in terms of the site that was gambled. Straight to A. They've opened it up. Highly aware, though, of course, of the rest of Qubit hunting to get some of these guns away.
But who opens it up again? It's now TimOtino. We're going to have to keep an eye on the performances that he keeps putting up on the attack here for the team. They talked about it on the desk. Big shoes to fill here when Sim kind of left the roster, but so far TimOtino is doing a great job and not having the same type of like overheat style that Sim kind of has to bring for TSM in the past. It works out well. Look at how it allows for them to be so coordinated in these pulse plants, despite it being an anti-eco. But the fact that they're able to just swing all together and have that third player that doesn't overheat to help out here for these fights. Not saying that Sim overheats all the time, but he also has those moments where he needs to find that extra timing because he's already gotten it by how more aggressive he is versus TimOtino. And it worked out in some moments because you've seen that from casting TSM's games from last year.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, that shell was, it felt like quite streaky, right?
Yeah.
A very high ceiling what Sim was able to provide. TimOtino, though, has been consistent over this series. And if TSM want to lock up that second seed for Ascension, that's how they need to be going about it. Now, this is where you want to start seeing Qubit not leverage the operator that, Redux has picked up. So taking this over to Rafters is a decent pick, but also make use of some of these ultimates they got ready. Obviously, having the Thrash here for Caillou. Nismo with a null command. TSM don't like what they saw there, actually sort of started to approach 410. They pulled out of A entirely.
Poison's off.
I agree. And it almost looked like TimOtino wanted to find that B fight on his own. Just because so much pressure and smoke came through from the A side in the beginning from Qbert. Are we going to TP spawn? Not with Spike. Fake TP. I'll take it.
Yeah.
So where are the inserts?
It's been pinged out, and wow, it gets a 0 point. Oh, Nismo's going to check. Oh, Gimondi's able to capitalize on that fake TP to spawn. And then he just strips off of the remaining Qbert players to try and challenge him. We'll stick the plant here despite the snake bite. And an Alvin boy just wrecks them. Knights has to do it all here, and frankly, he never stood a chance.
That was a fire strat, though, for TSM. Not only from a fake it to spawn that was thrown out here by 7. I mistaken to say GMD here with this play because I usually always see him as an Omen, but the fact that they pull out the rotates, that they force it to check, you have a double insert that went up towards that ramp from GMD and also from the A site. And because GMD gets the first kill onto Nismo, everybody's going to be focused on trying to take him down. That gave that window, the opening here for Alvin Boy to take. That was a really nice strat cooked up here from the side of TSM, where you talked about Star Duelist, or we talked about the Star Duelist being TimOtino always finding and having to find an opening so far for TSM on his half. It's just been a well drawn out play overall.
That was such a big investment round from Qbit Academy, Vans. I mean, Redux picks up an operator and then just isn't really posted up in the best spot to make use of it. It ends up walking back to Rafters like in that early round. It doesn't see anything because TSM's mid-rounding is kind of insane. They've also just made some great calls in the anti-gamble scenario. But that play up tube, the fake Omen TP that gets Nismo, I guess he just exposes himself. It's such a weird interaction. I just don't think that encounter occurs often where like the player in tube is watching towards spawn to see who's going to go and check the smoke. But it's such a simple thing. It requires such limited investment on TSM's behalf, and they have tube control. They're able to make use of it.
And the thing is that kind of throws me off a little bit too, is because Nismo did a great job knifing to check the radius of that smoke. But he ran towards that smoke to throw it instead of throwing it from spawn, where he could still hold up an anchor on the A site. So it really shows that Cuber wasn't expecting this type of play, and they reacted on the fly, but didn't have anything drawn up to react to follow up after that. And now this timeout is really for them to clean up the act a little bit more here so that they could start this comeback, because TSM, they're on to another very strong start on the attack side.
Yeah, 6-1, very strong total. Qubit brought down to half. Essentially, ooh, okay, timing just not on Timo's side there. It's fine. Still no spike, of course. That's still inching its way tentatively in the same direction, but it might be time for that now. Gimon hit by the Dizzy, instantly blinded up, but there's 7. No. Oh, man, caught mid-TP. Redux didn't have a chance to respond. And now all the half-decent weapons are gone from Qubit's side. Nat's trying to interfere a little bit there. Oh, that's classy. Nicely done by Gimon. A little jump shot to end the round. Qubit here, they called that timeout, and they've held onto these ultimates eventually. Something's got to give.
Uber, it's not called a classy, it's called a classic that he killed him with. But
yeah,
definitely
that was the weapon. Yeah, sorry, I don't get it.
Oh, my bad.
Just tell it again, hold on.
Okay, so you right-clicked him with a classic, but you said that was classy, but it's a classic. That's a classic that killed him, not that's
yeah,
classic.
I don't get it, sorry.
It's okay. At this spheres in the
that's
chat,
on me,
if anybody follows,
hands up, that's on me, brother. That's on me.
It's all good. I forgive you.
Sure
I forgive you. The timeout was for this, though. To really looking like they want to give up, and not give up middle. They really want to punish these lurks, so there's 3 players moving on this side, and a change of a setup here. So this allows now Qbert to delay as much as they could around Satellite's position, because he has a lockdown to work with. And I was hoping that was going to be the play. If this hit comes through, he throws the lockdown, people are going to be forced to rotate back, and then there's 3 players from Qbert to be able to fight back. Instead, it's just a Redux insert, and because he was just spotted by Timotino, they have to give all of that up. So now TSM, it almost doesn't look like it yet, but they once again have full control of that map to do whatever they want on how they're lurking around, because Knights is solo on that site. The only thing helping him at that point is his own util.
You're right, they're so invested in this mid control. Turret and 2 players still pinging the bottom of tube, so they're going to go look for that. That's going to cost some seconds. I think it's just being jiggled by Redux right now, and this will free Nismo up to head towards B. This is, as we know, the correct call. Oh, no! Oh, that's disastrous! Oh, he gets another one!
Dude.
Everybody walking into the crosshairs for Timotino, and Nismo just got CS'd there. Swinging out, going for a knife timing, and it's the exact worst time to make that peak. And there's just a sense that Qubit not supposed to win this map.
And that was off 2 smoke cycles on the defense that prevents the players from moving out. And Timotino continues to open up with the op. What are you going to do with this lockdown now? You just counter ulti.
Yeah, that's going to be the case. Hunter's Fury there will clear the lockdown. TSM now no longer forced off the site, and Qubit likely forced into a save here. Need to try and do something on the backside of this half, but they've already lost so much equity here. Another big investment round for them. Goes up in a puff smoke.
I'll take it.
You know, maybe they could take the op. No.
Judging by the way this round has gone, I 100% expected Timo to hit that. That's how I've been conditioned.
To be fair, I agree. And they'll still at least take it on the attack side, though, to carry it over to Timotino again. But the investment of the lockdown, I literally just talked about a timeout to clean up the act a bit for Qbert Academy. You can't play a 2 versus 5 retake, 2 versus 4, 2 versus 5, when you also still have counter lockdown and Hunter's Fury available on the attack. That was just something that could be saved within this round right here if they're able to stick together, even save those 2 weapons into the next round. So yeah, this is looking grim here for Qbert Academy. And again, this is why I was surprised. This is Qbert's map pick. Why do we take this?
I mean, they're not even losing out on a macro level is the issue. The fact that Timotino has about as many kills as the entirety of Qbert Academy is telling much of the story. It's his 14 to their 15 combined. Okay, play forward. I like this. A little bit of sass. And still, Timo's done it up to 15 now. Caillou could not get away. Seven will just take this challenge, brimming with confidence, with every reason to be. Here comes TSM. Oh, God, it is a slaughter.
Spike planted.
Nice has a judge too, also in the B site, man. I think you can't do anything with it, but almost, I would probably say save this into the next round. Why the hell not? They still have maybe another opportunity to utilize Knights into a forward position and hold out the front B site, because there's no way you're going to be able to rotate across and get value with this judge back into trying to get a pick at least, right? So you could definitely see it now anchored up towards that kitchen and holding it through. But if there's anything that I could sprinkle at least for the side of Q*bert Academy, I talked about like bad defensive rounds. They're definitely way more successful on their attack side versus the defense when it comes down to a map like this. I think that what skews the stats a little bit higher for the defensive side for Q*bert Academy was only one game, and I think that was against Box of Rockets, if I'm not mistaken. If not the rest, they've always trailed from behind when they're starting on the defensive side, but this composition allows for him to find good value on the attack. So we're hoping that we're going to see that shine here once we switch sides, because right now there's just isn't any answer for what TSM is currently doing. Even if they read it correctly, they're just getting out-aimed by Timotino too.
I mean, at least, like, you can't accuse Q*bert of being only reactive in this game. Look, I'm glad to see that early variation they tried to throw towards Jail on A side last round.
Yeah.
They get just completely dunced, though, by that util used by TSM. And then once again, like, there is still a walk up here. And still some pretty decent ultimates, but it's just never been a situation for that Null Command to be remotely relevant. Or the Thrash, for that matter. These guys are sitting on ultimates round after round, obviously denying themselves the chance to cycle into them a second time for this half. Whereas TSM have not really had to use theirs. There's a lockdown. If they really want to bully into a part of the map, they can just deploy that. But I like this. Don't mind Redux being here. The problem is that Alvin has not been giving up a whole lot as the loose end on this part of the map. They
Get out of my way.
don't have a way to spot Redux in advance. And he's creeping closer and closer. Dangerous! Throw it, util. I think util in his hands
out. He had his hands out.
Nothing in them. That's the problem. Zero to show. And all of a sudden, TSM is getting timing across the map.
Planted.
The timing on Redux also gives that timing onto Caillou. He was not set up. And now, Nismo was trying to go for a solo play to flood out because his teammates are still rotating across, and Knights only has a judge at 10 HP. So he was already hit in the chest earlier on here by an outlaw from Timotino, and I think it came down to that. Not necessarily on the pressure that they had towards that B site. It was just the timing that they missed here for Q*bert against TSM that last round. Dude, he's just continuing to farm, man.
Yeah, it's just something special here in this game from Timotino. And yeah, talk about attack side of the map all you like, that's fine. But this is the last round of the half, and this is Q*bert's last chance, not only to divest themselves of some of these ultimates, but to just get one on the board. Really unfortunate for Redux. He just chooses to drift back at what kind of could be the wrong time. I just expected it to be pretty much one and done. Yeah. And fall off maybe after taking a couple of kills. No one's really looking at Jail. But he just second guesses himself. And I mean, God, look at just think of it, like Nismo try to, 0 point on B, just getting shot in the face. Like, so many of these individual timings have just gone, in fact, all of them have gone against Q*bert Academy this half.
Yeah. And they'll try it again, at least this time, where they found a little bit of space, but nope, Knights dies. They still have the paranoid flash that they can work with, though. Somebody's got to break this drone so that Nismo gets value off his corner. He's spotted.
Oh, God, and they know everything now. They know exactly what's happening. They're going to go for it. They're going to take the fight. Hey, what are you doing? You have an outlaw in your hands. Timo just runs into Nismo. Tries to get ahead, apparently, the Null Command. Now, that wasn't possible, but still, they just win that fight. Complete and utter disrespect. We are JDM inclined right now. Seven will get that plant down. And it is on satellite to try and salvage what has been a disastrous half for Q*bert Academy.
Do people still remember the GDM lean? I mean, it's been, what, 4 years now? Oh, I feel like a lot of the new viewers has started watching Valorant since EG won 2023 champs in LA. So probably 80% of the people watching this stream probably doesn't know about GDM. That said, though, I have to say, sorry, Mitch, looking at the composition for Q*bert for this half, when they're playing 3 flash setups, I would expect for them to have this coordination of, okay, we have some sort of pressure. It doesn't necessarily always have to be double flashes to try to fight, because that seems obvious and you're just falling back here from the side of TSM like you saw previously. But if you take, for example, how Ethan was playing as a KO for Energy in the past few games, the way that he sets up pop flashes, that's unavoidable by the opponents trying to push forward, and the line that he protects and the person that's inserted on that line gets free kills out of that. I unfortunately haven't seen that coming out of Qbert Academy in terms of adaptation from round to round against TSM here. This is not the type of first half I was expecting. I was expecting Qbert Academy, despite being bad on defense, could get at least like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think that's what you're hoping for up against an opponent like TSM. Just give yourself a lifeline for that second half. Now, a lot of you feel out early, and I mean, yeah, the monster's just happy to give this space up. Big damage, by the way, big damage. That is obviously just decay from the poison orb they all ran through, so never mind. Have a nice day. Still be positioned up towards Crow's Nest though. TSM trying to make their way out. Alvin has made some level of inroads, but it's a weird angle to try and check. Kimon drops down though, deals with Redux. At long range, Timotino was knocked Nismo very low, and now he's on his ass. This is brutal. Knight so often finding himself in his solo scenarios. He was the loose end to be in that first half. Has to go nuts. Down to 50. Tap of the spike here and there. Timothy and Alvin Boy will swing together, and Knights was still able to find a window. This is big. Down to 50. But of course, the Grim Reaper himself puts him out of his misery and puts TSM within striking distance of that Grand Finals berth.
Anybody else alive in those 3 players for TSM outside of Timotino, I would have said Knights has a chance to win this one too. But Timotino's been red hot since that second half of Haven, and he is not missing anything at all. It was a valiant attempt, a nice try, but this is what I'm talking about here. The wall comes down. You have Nismo trying to swing out, just trying to go for a hero play. Everybody's watching different angles. They're not committed to say, let's fight for this angle. Let's swing for that spot. And now TSM, they have 11 chances to close this out. I mean, this is only a matter of time.
Yeah, and in the Timotino versus Qbert Academy matchup, it's Timotino, 24 kills to Qbert's 22. Yeah. All right, here's 7 trying to get ahead of the game. I respect it. Sometimes you let the game come to you. Timotino hoping to do just that. Gets off the line, but runs into Knights. Now a bit of pace being played with for Qbert as they realize this is their last chance. So Wingman will complete the spike plant. TSM leaning on 3. Stinger, Bulldog, Phantom to work with. Oh, God. Bring him on. He's having one. Pushed up. Alvin Boy with the better weapon here. Timing for Vora. Oh, it's beautiful. And Caillou goes down to the Stinger at long range. Well, it's a map that ends in much the way that it began. Utter domination. And Qbert Academy with a nightmarish performance.
Defenders win.
We knocked right on down.
Surprising enough that Qbert Academy in their run have been looking so good, but in 2 scenarios in the playoffs got 13-1, once against Envy on Sunset, and this time right here against TSM.